Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This afternoon, we give you a piece of breaking news from royal expert Richard Kay. What really comes shining through from Meghan's latest court documents is a royally petulant sense of grievance. So now we know that the Duchess of Sussex's wedding generated €1 billion in tourist revenue, far outweighing the cost of policing it. We also know she felt unprotected by the royal family while pregnant with baby Archie, and is unhappy that other family members are allowed to undertake paid work naming her husband's first cousins, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, and bizarrely Prince Michael of Kent, a marginal figure in the House of Windsor. These are the most astounding, headline-grabbing assertions Meghan makes in new papers filed in her High Court privacy battle. But leaving the breathtaking chutzpah to one side, the claims reveal an extraordinary degree of resentment towards the royal family and the institution that serves it, and which she signed up to when she married Prince Harry at Windsor Castle 2 years ago. At times it seems the Duchess is blind to reality with a list of complaints that read like those of a sullen child who cannot understand why people call her names. Nothing illustrates this more than her boastful responses to the cost of her wedding, claiming bizarrely that it was not publicly funded but rather personally financed by HRH, the Prince of Wales. The document maintains any public costs incurred for the wedding were solely for security and crowd control. The minor matter of the security bill, estimated but never confirmed at €30 million and paid for by taxpayers, was dwarfed, in her submission, by the tourism revenue of over £1 billion, which went directly into the public purse. Not a shred of evidence is presented to back up this outlandish claim. Moreover, however much Charles paid, it is plainly ridiculous to suggest that the prince picked up the bill for the wedding. What shines through in these documents is the Duchess's sense of grievance, as they give the most telling insight into her resentment towards the royals and those who work for them. It is a sense of grievance that can only have been heightened yesterday, when she and Harry bowed to the inevitable and formally wounded up their Sussex royal charity, after having been told by the Queen and senior family members earlier this year that they could not use the word royal in their ongoing work and branding after stepping down from official duties. One passage in the court papers refers to the question of whether she herself was a working royal, which she chooses to illustrate by pointing to the paid work undertaken by Beatrice, Eugenie, and Prince Michael. But unlike Meghan, who before she and Harry went into their self-imposed exile from royal duty was a working member of the family, neither of Princess Andrew's daughters carry out official engagements. Beatrice, 31, works in finance, and Eugenie, 30, is a director at a London art gallery. As for poor old Prince Michael, although he has occasionally represented the Queen on state occasions abroad, he receives no allowances for them as other members of the royal family do. He has, as he himself says, the Queen's permission to earn money on his own. Judging by the reaction on social media to the Duchess's latest salvo, however, some people are supportive of her claim that she felt like an outsider. The submissions are part of Meghan's legal case against the Daily Mail's sister paper, The Mail on Sunday, which she is suing for publishing extracts from a handwritten letter she sent to her father, Thomas Markle, 3 months after he was unable to walk her down the aisle following a heart attack. Part of the new papers reveals how she felt unprotected by royal advisors over what she perceived was a stream of negative stories about her. A key element refers to the issue of 5 close friends who spoke anonymously to U.S. celebrity magazine People because of their fears about her mental welfare. She said she knew nothing about their interview and only found out about it on the day the magazine was published. According to her legal team, the 5 friends only agreed to speak to protect her because she felt prohibited from defending herself. In doing so, they spell out the Duchess's frustrations with the palace's approach to the media, as well as correcting what they claim are inaccurate reports about the Sussexes' lives. The submissions say the institution's policy of no comment to media articles was deployed without any discussion with or approval by the claimant, the Duchess. Many within royal circles are despairing at this interpretation of how the royals handle such sensitive matters. There is a bitter experience here. In 1992, when Andrew Morton's book about the Princess of Wales' unhappy marriage appeared, it was trashed by courtiers only for them to backtrack when it was revealed Diana had collaborated with the author and encouraged her friends to speak to him too. Ever since, royal staff have been worried about engaging with known friends of family members. Meghan's complaints that it was mandated by the Kensington Palace communications team that all friends and family should say no comment when approached by the media outlets left everyone feeling silenced. Is reminiscent of Diana and the Duchess of York blaming the grey man among courtiers for all their woes. Meghan seems to have absorbed little of this royal history. Yesterday it emerged that Meghan was unhappy about the palace's failure to stem the tide of stories that emerged about her deteriorating relationship with her staff. One of them that particularly upset her concerned the resignation of personal assistant Melissa Tubati, who quit 6 months after the royal wedding in 2018. News of Miss Tubati's departure included reports that she had been reduced to tears by Meghan's demands. But the palace communications team reportedly found it hard to deny the reports because they were largely true. The Duchess also wanted something done about the stream of highly critical comments from her half-sister Samantha, who among other things labeled Meghan a shallow social climber. Kensington Palace's policy was not to engage with another family member voicing her opinions. There might have been more sympathy for the Duchess had she tried to include the family from her father's first marriage from the earliest days, perhaps even extending an invitation or two to the wedding, one royal advisor tells me. Instead, they ruthlessly excluded. Eyebrows have also been raised by the suggestions that Meghan was endured hundreds of thousands of inaccurate articles about her. It has prompted officials to warily say that the Duchess fails to understand the difference between those stories said to be untrue and negative critical ones. Putting to one side the preposterous numbers quoted, there is a huge distinction. Is she really saying that the palace should respond every time something was said somewhere that she disliked or disagreed with? Says former lady-in-waiting. As an actress, how did she react to an unkind review? It is petty and unrealistic. She now opens up the very real possibility of her one-time staff being called as witnesses for the High Court case. Sources close to Meghan insist that her criticisms do not relate to individual members of the royal family, but the institutional processes that, say, friends let her down. This will be of scant comfort to the Queen and Prince Charles, who embraced Meghan. They have every reason to feel let down as more and more details of this case are made public, says a figure close to the Queen. The welcome they gave her was unmatched. Then there is one other troubling matter. The publication next month of Finding Freedom, a biography of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex that promises to tell the epic and true story of the couple and the reason behind their flight from Britain to the US. It has been suggested that it will make uncomfortable reading inside the palace, and there are rumors that it may contain an element of score settling. But if the publicity brouhaha around the book and the author's claims of unique access are true, might it not also demonstrate why working for the Duchess was so very difficult? Some royal fans still comment that she cannot stop herself from making everything far worse for herself, and I agree with this report that she does sound like a petulant child who can't get her own way. Her way would be to control the press and stop any criticism of her, as Richard Kay said, grotesque bad manners. For her PA to quit and to have been reduced to tears tells us all we need to know: how she treats her staff. The court case was also a big mistake, as it's revealing even more negative information about her. Things are beginning to unravel before our very eyes. The court case is about one letter to her father given to the media by said father. Before that happened, 5 of her friends discussed it in a magazine, so why isn't she suing any of them? All the other stuff is irrelevant to the case, but does show what a petulant, self-absorbed person she is. Harry got it so wrong, should have listened to William, but he was so desperate to have a wife and child. Just like the rest of Hollywood, she is so self-obsessed with her woke identity politics and making it to the ranks of Hollywood's A-list. She was at the best B-C list due to her being in a TV series that was popular on streaming sites, rather than blockbuster movies. She took one of the most popular members of the royal family and made him give up everything, just for him to be her lackey. An American advised Meghan, a pastime for Meghan to grow up and treat others with the respect and human dignity deserved. You can't always throw your arms up screaming foul. Instead of a family lawsuit, maybe meditation would be warranted. Maybe grow from a family you still belong to even though you moved. As a spouse, they are your family, unless you need a divorce. Then guess what? They are your son Archie's family still. The whole world doesn't bow to us. Increased humility might be needed, Meghan. I don't think treating your husband's family publicly this way is civil or beneficial. Queen Elizabeth II isn't young and possesses a wealth of knowledge you aren't gathering. Meghan, time to practice flexibility, not building brick walls and dumping all connections with your past. Around the age of Diana and Fergie, following the firm for decades. Meghan, maybe you are the one who needs to change. Adulting isn't always bad. And just how was the British royal family supposed to prevent her half-sister, an American citizen who does not live in the UK, from talking to the press? How were they expected to deal with allegations from a half-sibling when they had no way of knowing whether any of those allegations were true or not? Those who work in the royal household were not privy to the private history of the Markle family. And you? What do you think about our news? Please drop us a line with your opinion in our comments section below. And as always, come back to our channel for all the latest news on Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and the royal family right here. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.
Meghan is creating a test of patience for his public, as she over and over again thinks that her past actions are of greater benefit to royal fans and supporters. She created a cover by creating charity companies, meetings of many famous stars, and wanted more attention, and imposed the thought that Meghan was a friendly heart-like person. God,